Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Mary.
It is such an honor to have you a part of this year's Silver Beaver class. Thank you for all that you do in scouting. You are all over the board in terms of council, district, unit, scouting and non-scouting events. Where do I even begin?
Well, I started out at the troop as an ASM, and someone talked me into going to Wood Badge. And my ticket got supersized because I was supposed to, part of my ticket was to do a district, volunteer at a district event. And
Which is a pretty big deal coming from just serving on a unit, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Except that I got there, and the gal that was the activities chair for Great Rivers at the time was actually starting to think about stepping down. And she said, "Oh no, no, you'll do more than one." And after a couple of the events, um, the I call them my core four because they were the four key players in the activities team, the A team for Great Rivers. And the four of them took me aside and they said, "We want you. We want you to do activities." And I kind of went, okay. Let me think about that. And so I gave it a shot, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We
So
had a
you
great
went
team.
from being a troop to being a district activities chair, which means you also serve on the council's activities committee.
Yep. And so now, with the unit's first plan,
Right.
I'm actually doing the Klondike Derby right now for council. So it's a council activity instead of a district activity, which
Okay.
holy cow. And then looking forward, probably Camporee and Klondike again. I'm excited.
Wow, that's really amazing. And then to think that you're starting a girls' troop. You are one busy lady.
It's a good busy. If I could have been a Boy Scout growing up, I would have. I love the camping. I love the adventure. I love the fun. And my daughters would tag along with their brothers. They got to go to the den meetings. They sometimes came to the courts of honors and things like that. And they would have, well, my older daughter would have loved to have been part of the program, but having my youngest daughter get to be part of this is just indescribable.
Here in the middle of a pandemic, in a time where people are conducting their scout meetings through virtual, on-screen opportunities, not really being able to go out there and get the game done, how are you guys growing your unit?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. We've continued to meet. We've continued to do different activities. And if that means that, okay, now we're going to meet outside instead of in the church, then that's what we're going to do. If it means, okay, now we're going to have some space between us and maybe fewer numbers, then that's what we're going to do. And find a way to be successful. And I think when the leadership is enthusiastic about the program, the girls naturally, the scouts naturally are excited about it too. And so we have just, we had a fantastic year, pandemic aside, but we had a great year. We accomplished a lot of rank advancements, and the girls experienced new challenges. We went backpacking. We did canoe camping on the Namakagon. We've had a great year.
It says a lot about your leadership. I mean, for the girls to obviously must be communicating to their friends and their peers about what an awesome experience they're obviously going through, that they're encouraging and exciting other youth to join the program with them.
Thank you.
Now, how, as a girls-only troop at this point, you guys do stuff with the your counterparts, the boys' troop, is it?
With our link troop,
Right.
our very last camp out right before COVID was actually a linked a linked camp out. So we camped together in March, right, the week before everything shut down. But we have not camped together since then. So we're looking forward to going to Tomahawk because this year we will actually be neighbors. The girls have their own campsite, and it's right next door to the boys' historic campsite that they've had for 50 years. So super excited to have that opportunity.
When you're going through the developing process, as the Scoutmaster, who do you turn to when you've got questions or you need support for your unit?
I'm so blessed. I have so many mentors that I look up to, that I respect, that I can call and say, "Hey, I need your help," and I know that they will have solid answers. They'll have good recommendations because of years of experience and wisdom and knowledge. And so, honestly, I am just so grateful for all of those
So you don't feel alone.
mentors. Not at all.
Your church has been very impactful in your life, your family's life, and another side of your volunteer world, right?
Very much so. When I was confirmed there as an adult, I was not confirmed as a youth. I was confirmed as an adult prior to getting married. My husband and I did Boundary Waters trips with different kind of an outreach sort of thing. It was a cross between outreach and people who just love the outdoors. So it was a great time of fellowship with our pastor. My kiddos did VBS there, so I got to do all the VBS stuff, Vacation Bible School stuff every summer, and of course having youth, then the Easter breakfast, the Christmas play every year. All those things are super important to the family circles at the church. So
I know that your chartered organization is a church, but this being your home church, has that made any impact in terms of the way maybe you've brought a little bit of duty to God into your troop meetings or the girls' experiences?
I always try to bring duty to God into those experiences. My troop has a wide variety of different religions and different levels of faith, but I think that sharing one's faith with others is important, and by doing that, you help foster their faith, whether they know it or not. I don't. How do I say it? I found my faith as an adult when someone gave me a Bible, and the guy that handed me the Bible has no idea that he changed my life by doing that. And so this is one of the things that I have shared with the girls is you never know what kind of impact, what kind of ripples you create when you do something small. It might be just something absolutely tiny, but you have no idea what kind of impact that's going to have on somebody else's life.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
That is really beautiful. When you talk about an impact in somebody's life, I know that when it comes to scouting, you are an all-inclusive group. And that means if anybody maybe approaches things in a different way than maybe the majority does, that is not something that you would choose to say, hey, I'm not into this, so I'm not going to deal with this. You will embrace those special needs scouts.
I have, and I do. Everybody brings something to the table, and you got to have all kinds of different spices, or you have a very, very bland diet. So,
I love that idea. Now, when you talk about camping with your troop, was there a time that you guys had an experience with some lightning?
maybe more than once. Which time are you talking about?
I thought lightning didn't strike twice. No.
Well, yes. So my very first summer at Tomahawk with the boys troop, I put my Tajma tent, my big honkin' tent, smack in the middle of the opening. They have a clearing on top of it's raised, and I'm like, high ground, sunshine. I'm happy here. So I put my tent there. And we came back from the storm shelter after a really bad storm, and my tent was all kind of like and it just looked really sad and slumped over, and I'm like, what happened to my tent? And I go over there, and it had been hit by lightning, and the stakes that there were plastic connectors that connected the metal ones that came up and across, and those had like exploded and and torn the tent from inside out. So we ended up having to set up an emergency tent in the rain. That was fun. But then just last summer, we went camping. We were backpacking this time, and there was a storm coming through, and lightning can strike really ridiculously close twice. I was sitting in my tent, and all of a sudden, the hair on my arms and the back of my neck, my hair just prickled, and you really can smell ozone right before it hits. And all of a sudden, there was this enormous crash, lightning, and I just sat there. I was like, oh my gosh! And when I looked at my phone to see, that was a close one. How close was it? There's a little location, because I have lightning tracking on my phone. There's a little.
I bet you do.
There's a little, well, high adventure, preparedness.
There you go.
There's a little, like, you are here circle with crosshairs on it, and the lightning was like right smack dab in the middle of it. I got a screenshot of that.
We're going to get you a rubber bottom. I understand in the process of enjoying your outdoor adventures that you enjoy fishing.
I do.
How many poles do you take when you go fishing?
Right now, I have my super cheap and ultra disposable, I think this one is a frozen pole, because my Tinkerbell pole may have.
What happens to them when you go fishing?
Well, they fall out of the canoe in various ways. Yeah, sometimes.
Is casting getting in the way of that?
Twice casting got in the way of that. One time, I handed the pole over to my husband, and he dropped it.
Well, there you go. That one doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, and in fact, the last pole I lost, we were in the Boundary Waters, and we were fishing, and I was relaying the stories because I was salty over the fact that my husband wouldn't let me bring his good pole up. So I went out and bought a Tinkerbell pole at Fleet Farm. And no sooner did I get done saying, I don't know why he wouldn't let me bring his pole, I did that, and it fell. And I started, I'm not sure if I was laughing or crying, but the scouts were on the other side of the lake, and they hightailed it over there. They were like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know.
Find my fishing pole.
No, it was long gone. It was long gone.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Now, I understand you said you have 2 girls and 2 boys, right? Mm-hmm. And a husband.
Yep.
But I hear you have some 4-legged family members as well, cats and dogs.
Yeah, yep.
But then you also have other 2-legged
We have chickens.
coyote snacks?
Yes, we have chickens. We have lots of chickens.
So tell us about your chickens.
They're delicious.
Okay. Free range?
Yeah, they do free range, and sometimes
For the coyotes.
Coyotes happen, yeah.
Tell me, what is your most memorable scouting moment?
Oh, goodness. I think so far, I would say my trip with Charlie, my number 3, to Superior Hiking Trail. We were practicing. Actually, what happened is we were supposed to go to Philmont, and Philmont had fires. So we had a week or more of time off, and we said, well, we've all got a week off. Let's go hiking, and we'll make it cool. And so we went backpacking up along the Superior Trail, and just getting to experience a new place with Charlie and some of the other scouts and scouters that were along was phenomenal. That's my favorite. But I think it's just a precursor because we're supposed to, knock on wood, we're supposed to go to Philmont. It's our third try going to Philmont.
The boys' troop?
Yeah. We fire and then COVID, and so in theory we're supposed to go this year. And I think that is going to be my greatest scouting experience.
That is fantastic.
I can't wait.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to learn and share your wonderful scouting experiences with us.
Thank you.
Good luck for your Philmont and the future growth of your unit. And thank you again for serving in the Northern Star Scouting.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.